Yes.
We just can't understand what's
And
happening.
this is where I think the American people, now we have the Holocaust Museum in Washington. I hope we will not, unless there is a solution, we will have another Holocaust Museum for Palestinians.
It should happen, because already for 52 years, massive displacement, massive massacres for villages, even people in prayer were massacred in Hebron at the Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem, and still, you know, yesterday 10 people were killed, including kids and boys of 13 and 14 years old, shot at the head. And then a kid was killed yesterday by a shot at the forehead between the eyes, which is something that you know, it's hard for us to understand. It's hard for us to understand as Palestinians why this is happening to us. Now, maybe the Jews live in a complex of insecurity, and this is why they're talking about security all the time. Maybe they are in a self-defense you know, trying to defend themselves. So to defend, you attack others and you hurt others. But they have, as a nation, to think over this. As a nation, they have to think over this. Meanwhile, we don't accept to be subject of their oppression just because they have been through suffering. This is not reasonable. This is not justified, and it should not happen even today in the year 2000. You know, it's hard to understand today. Second thing, what we are trying to do is to, you know, we understand the suffering of the Jews. We understand what they have been through, but we don't understand the complex of guilt that the Europeans have, and the Americans have, the West have toward the Israelis, that they are keeping their mouth shut about what the Israelis are doing. You know, and this complex of being called anti-Semite, you know, this is becoming a nightmare that the Westerners have to be set free of it, and to be able to say morally and ethically, this is right and this is wrong, this should happen, this shouldn't happen, and they have to interfere these days and say enough with what's happening in Palestine, enough with the killing of Palestinians, enough with the putting people under siege, enough with the displacements, enough with the destruction of houses yesterday in Beit Sahur and Beit Jala by missile rockets from the helicopters. The problem for us, we don't understand the silence of the West, and you know, for us it's not justified, even if you're, you know, called anti-Semite whatsoever. You know, this is becoming a nightmare. This is becoming an obstacle, and this is becoming an immoral thing that is keeping people silent toward whatever is happening on the ground there. For whatever you say, you are called anti-Semite. So what? Yeah. This is a nightmare. This is whatever that we don't accept.
Right. Father Emil, I think I have read on. Taken from the internet and from information, various Israeli peace activists who are questioning the motives of Israel. I think there are some in the American Jewish community that are very fair-minded and would start questioning these kind of tactics if they really understood what was happening to these people.
Well, let me share with you our concern, not from the Jewish side, but rather from the Christian side.
Yes.
Because we have been so often hurt by fellow Christians in the United States, the right-wing Christians, the mainstream Christians, those who support Israel publicly. And we as Christians often are embarrassed by these Christians who support Israel. Knowing and being subject of Israeli oppression, it's hard for us to understand. And these Christians are using the Bible to justify their support for Israel, as if Israel today is the fulfillment of the promises. We don't think that these are Christians. You know, it's not part of our faith. You know, we Christians, we belong to Christ. Christ is the fulfillment of promises. And we know that the Bible is not a literal thing, it's not territorial meaning. And it's hard for us to understand the support of these Christians for Israel. Same time that Israel is hurting the churches and hurting the Christian communities and displacing Christians from the Holy Land, how would you come and say that this is the fulfillment of the promises of the Bible? So we understand that there is Jews in the United States that are open-minded and who reject, who object what Israel is doing. We hope churches will do the same.
Yeah.
Churches and Christians, the majority of this society are Christians.
Mm-hmm.
They are a silent majority. We would like to hear their voice. We would like to hear them in solidarity with us as Christian community in the Holy Land, Palestinian Christians suffering. We would like to hear them supporting us.
Father Emil, it will only hurt, I think, a particular group to not tell the truth. The truth is the truth for everyone, whether it's Muslim, whether it's for the Jewish people,
Yeah.
whether it's for the Christians. The truth is the truth. And basically, I think the church's view is everyone is made in the image and likeness of God. It's simplicity with depth. You have the right to human rights.
Yes.
You have the right to be treated like a human being. And they also have the right to be treated as human beings. But there's a frustration when you do not have the same rights.
Well, I have witnessed through the last years of the struggle, the Palestinian society ready and declaring the acceptance of the existence of Israel. What is needed now is the Israelis to take a step forward to acknowledge the existence of the Palestinian people and their rights. No other way to reach a just solution but mutual acceptance and recognition of each side's rights in having its national rights and entity and dignity. And this is what we're hoping for, that the Israelis would take a step forward. This is the only way out of this struggle, just solution, and justice is recognizing others' rights.
And isn't
for
it,
both sides.
It's possible, because if the Americans and the Europeans can air their dirty laundry and apologize and say we were wrong in certain things, it is possible in the human condition, wouldn't you say,
and this
to
is what
sit there
we're
and
hoping
reflect.
for.
Yeah.
This is what we're hoping for, because we believe right now the only power that could make this happen is the United States. And this is where we hope that the American public will put more pressure on the Congress, on the Senate's House, on the administration, not only to have policy, but to have morality with the policy. To defend human rights wherever, regardless of interest and personal interest or national interest, because there is human rights is a human interest for everybody, and you cannot bargain and make deals on this.
That's
what
right.
we're hoping is to get the majority silent American society to come to speak out and to defend the rights of others, and to put more morality into the American polity.
Yes, and Father Emil, before we close, I would ask you first to talk to the American public, and in particular, the Christian Americans. What would you like to tell them?
Well, what I would say to them is, as a priest coming from the Holy Land, is to give them greetings of the Holy Land, and to give them the blessing of the Holy Land. Those who are watching over this show right now, is to tell them that I bring you the peace and the greetings of the Jerusalem. And I ask you to think about Jerusalem, to pray for Jerusalem. And I would like you to know that you have brothers and sisters in faith who live in the Holy Land. Christians, Palestinian Christians, who are suffering and who need your understanding, your awareness, your support, and your solidarity. I also urge you, when it's possible for you to come and visit, to be in partnership with Christians of the Holy Land, to meet with them, interact with them,